It's been a minute since I've done a book talk video, and I've really completed four books in the last like week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. And so I wanted to take a minute and jump in and start talking to you about these. So the first one, the first video that I'm going to do as far as books that I've read since I finished teaching summer school is a book that I bought and I was holding on to because I specifically wanted to read this on vacation, and it ended up being the perfect time. The book that I want to talk about is Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. Now, you may or may not know Michelle Zauner. Who she is the lead singer of Japanese Breakfast, which is a phenomenal group. She also plays guitar. She plays the gong. She dances around. She's full of energy. She is a phenomenal musician and writer, and I am such a fan of her work. I had heard about this book before I ever heard of her, actually, before I knew who Japanese Breakfast was. I was kind of a late bloomer in coming into their music, but this book is outstanding. Now, so what this book is about, Crying in H Mart, it is about essentially Michelle Zauner and her relationship with her mother, who was diagnosed with cancer. And so she travels from, I believe she was living in Philadelphia at the time, to Portland, the Portland area where she grew up, to be with her mother while her mother battled cancer. It's about the battle itself, the relationship between them. Eventually, her mother does lose her battle, and so then it's about the grief of having lost her mother, and also what she believed to be her only connection to her Korean culture, her Korean heritage. Michelle is biracial. She's half Korean and half white, and so she sort of reconnected to her culture and reconnected to her mother through learning to cook the Korean food that her mother cooked for her. And in so doing, it also helped her to kind of work through some of the pain of their fraught relationship, as many people have. Not everyone has fantastic relationships with their parents, especially in their teenage years. But this is about sort of recovering the good, dealing with the grief of the loss, and reconnecting with your culture. Really beautiful. Lots of talk about food. You definitely will be hungry while you watch this or while you read this. I finished this book actually in the Mount Auburn Cemetery, going to visit my mother-in-law's grave on what would have been her 75th birthday. So there was something very poignant about the moment that I finished this book. But I highly recommend this book. I cannot encourage you to read it enough, especially if you've lost someone that you were close to, a family member or a relative. This is a great book to kind of process that grief. So Crying in H Mart, go pick it up.